To that point, to your point there, at the time of the vote on the American Rescue Plan, you had the Republican leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell. He said he just didn't like it because he thought it was a classic example of big government Democratic overreach in the name of COVID relief. And then Kevin McCarthy said he thought Democrats were using coronavirus as an excuse to justify funding pet projects.
Well,
where is the we're going to vote against this because we want to defund the police?
Again, I think actions speak louder than words, Peter. So if you oppose funding for the COPS program, something that was dramatically cut by the prior administration and many Republicans supported, and then you vote against a bill that has funding for the COPS program, we can let other people evaluate what that means. It doesn't require them to speak to it or to shout it out. Their actions speak for themselves. Go ahead.
Two questions. The first one on infrastructure, in reference to the bipartisan support here. We just heard from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She's doubling down on this idea that she's going to hold on to one bill until she has the other. But we've also heard from Leader McConnell, and he says that President Biden's clarification is just a hollow gesture unless Democrats like Pelosi agree to changing their approach. So does this strategy by the House Speaker risk bipartisan support for this deal?
Well, I would say that what leaders in the party have asked the president to do is to go out there and make the case for how this bill, how this piece of legislation will help the American people. He just did that in Wisconsin yesterday. He just had his EPA administrator come out and do that for all of you. And we think the American people are most focused on what this is going to do for them and less on the process. It's up to leaders in Congress to move this forward. The president looks forward to signing both pieces of legislation into law.
But if Republicans are expressing concern, saying they may not vote for this bipartisan package unless these two are not linked in some sort of way, is this putting that deal in jeopardy?
Again, I will leave it to you and to leaders to evaluate, and I will leave it to leaders in Congress to determine the sequencing and the process moving forward. The president looks forward to signing each piece of legislation into law.
Can I just ask one quick question on police reform? Sources are telling us that they have now hit a major roadblock in negotiations. I'm curious if the president has been briefed on that. When was the last time that he spoke to the lead negotiators, including Republican Tim Scott?
We're in regular touch with the negotiators. I don't have a timeline or a specific last call with the president, but senior members of his team are certainly in close touch. We'll let them speak to where they are in the process and where they are in moving the process forward. The president remains eager to sign the police reform bill into law.